Hey folks, if you watched my last video, you'll know that I ended that video by saying I'm gonna do Christmas decor videos and I won't be gone for long, and it is now August of the next year, obviously, so that didn't happen. There are a few different reasons for that if anyone is interested. Mainly, I had a really busy schedule. It was more exhausting than I thought that it was going to be, and I just didn't have the energy to do all of the home curating stuff that I love and film it and post it and, the whole shebang. It also was in part because the state of the world is really depressing right now. I just was having trouble figuring out what it means to make videos about things that in the grand scheme of things are sort of frivolous. Well, we are being live streamed atrocities every day and seeing a whole lot of really scary things happening that a lot of us lack the agency to meaningfully stop. And I was just really struggling with that. I've been struggling with that. I was when I was filming those videos before, and I still am. But I also think that it's okay to do things that give you comfort and use things as a creative outlet, as long as you don't let those things become a distraction from the people who really need our help right now. So I took a break. That's the short story, is that I took a break. I am here to talk about my Halloween haul. You'll know from the title. I'm sure that's why you clicked on the video, obviously. And I still think it's really fun to collect that stuff. I really enjoy that stuff. But I also am probably going to have this be the only haul that I post this year, because I am trying to only go Halloween shopping like 2 or 3 times, and that's it. And then I'm just going to pull from the decorations that I've already collected and love, or do DIY projects for other stuff, because I also think, as much as I love these videos and I love this creator space, I watch a bunch of videos like that, I do think the consumerism of it all kind of gets lost on people, or people just don't really consider, like, hey, we are being pulled into this stuff for a very specific reason by these corporations. So I found the things I love, but I don't want to be swayed to use my money on a bunch of other stuff that really is just not necessary for me to own. I mean, none of this is really necessary for me to own, but this at least feels a little bit closer to my heart, rather than feeling like I just have to buy the whole season from July to October. I just have to keep going out to the store again and again and again. I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be better about stuff like that. So what I did is I spent my day off a few weeks ago going and having the fun Halloween hunt that I dream of, and then I went one more time to some of the stores in my area, and I'm trying to make that it. I have some DIY projects I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to pull out all the things I already own and decorate. So enjoy it while it's here, I guess, is the message. Enjoy this while it's here. And I hope that you can find some comfort and think about how the comfort that we find in this is the type of peace that everyone deserves to have. Everybody deserves to be able to explore these different niches that they love in peace and in safety and in a financially and physically secure way. That's just, I think, a human right. That's just how I feel about it. So, I am coming to you from my studio, a little bit of a change of scenery. I have some of my art pieces finished and unfinished behind me. I've got a ton of collage stuff over here that I'm just not willing to move, whatever. So yeah, let's get into it. I found stuff, obviously a lot of Johanna Parker. If you know this channel, you know that I love her, and so do a lot of people. But I also have some other cute things as well, and then I have one DIY project to show you at the end where I kind of revamped a resin piece that I just wasn't super like 100% happy with. I'm gonna start with some of the smaller things, and then as we go on, we'll get into some of my better finds too. Okay. Oh, by the way, one last note. Look at my coffee. Look at my coffee cup. Isn't she so cute? I'm just so into, look at her eyes. They're so wide, searching, maybe seeing more of your soul than you could ever imagine, and I love that. Which actually brings me on to one more point before we get into the decor and all of that. I am not doing Summerween. Obviously, I shopped for all of this stuff in the summer because that's just kind of when it's available. However, I am not a fan of Summerween really at all, which I know can be kind of controversial in the Halloween decor space right now. Although, you know, there are plenty of people who don't like the items themselves, but like the concept. And I honestly just kind of feel like you can make your home weird and magical at any time of the year. I have plenty of weird little guys, this mug included. This one is a year-round mug that I love to use that, you know, I didn't go out thinking, oh, this is a perfect Summerween piece. It's just sort of odd, and I just like that, you know? I don't feel the need to populate my home with a bunch of like skeletons and pool floaties. Like, I don't feel that those are pieces that are gonna continue on and be staples for me. I think that's kind of gonna get pretty old pretty quickly. I just think that it's kind of an excuse to sell us more cheap junk. Most of the Summerween stuff has looked honestly kind of junky to me. So I'm not doing that. None of this stuff is that. All of this is regular Halloween. And again, the only reason why I bought it in the summer is because I wanted to grab it before all of it was sold out. I'm very excited that JP is back in stock. Thank you, Transpac, for fixing Magenta's mistakes. So let's get started in the haul that I have. I first just want to show you a couple of the reusable bags that I have found. I know it doesn't seem very exciting, however, they had some really cute prints. This is one of the TJ Maxx, they're like sort of plasticky canvas reusable bags, and that print is just like one of the best reusable bag prints I've ever seen. It's these jack-o'-lantern cherries and these like ghosties, skull, snake, bat, spider, the whole deal. And it feels very vintage inspired to the point where the thing that swayed me to actually pick this up is that they put this sort of filter over the drawings. I don't know if it'll come up on camera, but they put this filter to make it seem a little bit aged, like a little bit distressed, and I just love that. I think that that is like really nice attention to detail. These guys are $1. Perfectly happy with it. I also got this little reusable bag, which I thought was so cute. I just really wish that this was my life, that I was just like a little woodland animal trick-or-treating with my friends in the forest. I especially love the little devil bat or devil squirrel on top. So cute. This one, I also got one for my sister and her wife who are celebrating their 5-year anniversary. That was so cute and very much them. The last reusable bag that I got was this one, which is canvas, so it was $5.99. I just loved this. I am not usually super into the like cutesy patterns, but it also has like some interesting sort of, not distressing really, but shading work on the different little creatures. And I love that it's cutesy, but also the pumpkins look kind of odd. Like, I really only go for cutesy if there's something that's sort of odd or off about it, and I thought that that just kind of perfectly fit the bill. I love candy. It's a really high quality bag too, I think. I think I'll be able to use it a bunch. Those plastic ones, as much as I love them, they're $1 because they break eventually. After you've used them enough, the handles start to rip the bag apart because it's just plastic. So it was fun to find a canvas one that I know I'll be able to use a lot more, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be able to use that for like a few years instead of like a season or two, you know? I did get some Rae Dunn this season. I know people have mixed feelings about Rae Dunn, as do I. Really, most of it's like could take it or leave it, and it's like from could take it or leave it to I really hate this. I am not into this at all. Mainly, it's like the block lettering. I just think that it's tacky, kind of. So I was really excited to see that, I think probably from interest in older Rae Dunn pieces, they've kind of backtracked a little bit. She's putting out stuff that reminds me a lot more of the really delicate little illustrations that she used to do. So I picked up this bat mug saying eek, which I just thought, like, such a delicate and sweet little illustration with the candy. It has a little bat at the lip, which I thought was really cute. I don't know, something about this really spoke to me, and I was really happy to see that she's going back to her roots a little bit more, and I don't know, that just feels a little bit more timeless to me than the block letters that just feel very like trendy and cringy a little bit to me. I'm sorry if you like Rae Dunn. No hate to Rae Dunn. Also, no hate to anybody who likes different stuff than I do. You're allowed to like different stuff than I do. The other Rae Dunn piece that I got was the little Woodstock. It's little witch Woodstock riding a broom. If you don't know, Woodstock is a character from Peanuts. I really liked Woodstock always as a kid growing up. I have not really been into a bunch of the Peanuts merch that's come out, although they do have some really cute things this year. But I thought getting a little Woodstock riding on a broom in front of the moon, and then it says Happy Halloween. I also love that the moon is this like darker orange instead of just kind of the classic orange. I thought that that was interesting. And it has, here, let me see if I can get it to show it. It has this speckling glaze on the mug, which I also thought was very cute. So that one was $8.99. And I don't know, I'm happy to have it. I got rid of a bunch of the Rae Dunn mugs that I'd gotten as part of that lot or gotten for free. So I kind of have a little bit more space to add to my Halloween mug collection. And yeah, was super pleased with this one. I think these guys have been pretty hot ticket items, and I didn't even really know that, so I'm glad that I found one. It just kind of showed up, and I was like, ah, all right, let's get it. Continuing on the mug train, because I got a few different ones this year. I also found very coveted Eli and Ana mugs, which these also had no idea that these had come out. I got them and then saw people are already reselling these for like 3 or 4 times the price, which is crazy. These were $5.99 each, so $6 each. But I love anything that has like a bat motif. I feel like it's rare for me to find a really, really good bat motif. And then I love the little cat. It does look like a Johanna Parker cat. And okay, here's my thing about this. I see a lot of people describing Eli and Ana or other more vintage inspired Halloween pieces as like Johanna Parker like. And here's the thing. I love the girl so much. She does not own vintage Halloween. She doesn't. She's clearly made her style her own. She has a very unique vision. However, it's also clear that she's been really inspired by a lot of vintage Halloween decor. It seems like a lot of inspiration from old Halloween cards. I see a lot of cards that have very similar like faces and motifs to hers. So she has her inspirations, as do Eli and Ana. However, the cat, you can't tell me that's not just a Johanna Parker cat face. I mean, the eyes, the way that the nose is done, the little eyelashes, and the mouth, that I think is cutting it a little close. I still love this mug. I think it's great. I love the stripes, and I love that it is a more traditional mug shape, because sometimes Johanna Parker can be quite difficult to actually use functionally. So I love this. These two were the mugs that I got for my sister and her wife for their anniversary. But that wasn't the only Eli and Ana pieces that I obtained this year. I did find the plate that everyone has been going on about that has these very cool little faces that sort of look like the faces on vintage Halloween buckets, those like very expensive, real like 40s or 50s Halloween buckets. But I just loved, especially the moon. Oh my goodness, I love him. I thought this was so cute, and I like that it's a little bit less. Some of their Halloween plates last year really leaned into the like misshapen sort of thing, and I think that that's cool, but it also strikes me as a little trendy, little Rae Dunn-y. So I like that this one isn't so obvious. The other plate of Eli and Ana I got 2 of these for display, were these ones, which I know have been in high demand. They were in high demand last year. I went to a store that had like a full dishware set, and I do not need the full dishware set. I pretty much don't need a full dishware set of anything, so I just got a couple plates because there's certain spots in my kitchen where I like to display a couple like seasonally themed plates, and I thought that this would just be really cute for that, and I love that cat. And this one was $6.99. The other one was $5.99. So, you know, the slightly larger 7, smaller 6. Okay, I think that's all I got that was not Johanna Parker. So if you are trying to skip ahead and see her stuff, I breezed through the other things. Besides, there was one other piece, but I am doing a little bit of a flip on that one, so I'll show it at another time. Maybe I'll make a short. Who knows? Okay. Ooh, where to start with Johanna Parker? Okay, I'm gonna bury the lead a little bit with the really, really good stuff and start with her napkins, or not napkins, her dish towels. So I found all of the dish towel offerings that she had this year, the first of which was, I'll just start on the top. So I got her gray cat. I was unconvinced by this initially. It's like, the design could kind of take or leave. It's not even the design, actually, it's the gray. I am not a very big fan of gray. However, I was swayed when I thought about how when my partner cooks, he has zero regard for wiping stains on stuff and just kind of getting the dish towels really messy. And I realized that the gray is actually a very good way to kind of disguise staining. Like, I made the mistake of actually using the Johanna Parker Moon towels, and I saved one that was like, okay, we're not going to use this one, but the other one, it got some stains that were pretty tough to get out, so I'd rather just display those and then have ones that are like more functional. I also picked up the pumpkin towel. This one I thought was so cute. I kind of like that the pumpkin is lighter, that it's an orange background with this like kind of light yellow or cream colored pumpkin. That I just thought it was a little different, a little interesting. I love her stars that she puts on stuff. Generally, I love stars on like all Halloween stuff as long as it leans more to that sort of, there's like a 50s retro star, and then there's like a 90s retro star, maybe early 2000s retro star. I much prefer something that feels more 50s retro star, and I thought that that fit the bill as it does with all of her pieces. So these guys, all the dish towels, by the way, were $12.99, which I was a little annoyed. I was a little annoyed because it's only $12.99 because they added this third towel. All the third towels are just a plain black towel, and it's like, okay, sure, they'll be around. I'll use them for whatever, but it did feel a little bit like an excuse to jack the price up from $9.99 like a lot of her towels were last year. But still, I'm glad that I found it. As am I glad. As am I glad? Don't think about the grammar on that one, but I'm also glad that I found her ghosty, which I have been looking for Johanna Parker ghost stuff. I've been looking for her ghost stuff for quite a long time, and this ghost is just the cutest thing. I love that it's the not just the ghost head, but you get the full sort of ghost body, and that it's carrying a little like trick-or-treat Halloween basket. So cute. I don't know how I feel about this sort of marking on it, but at the same time, I think if it were just the ghost on the black background, it might look a little bit bare, so I can kind of understand why it is that they went with that. But adorable, adorable. I love it. Here, let me, hold on. There we go. Just moving. Sometimes I think when I'm watching a YouTube video, I feel kind of boxed in if the camera's too close to the top of someone's head. I'm just trying to move you up a bit. Now you might be slightly off kilter. Hold on. It's fine. No one's gonna watch this, or like a handful of people are gonna watch this. It doesn't matter. The next Johanna Parker thing that I'm gonna get into. Okay, let me get into some of the smaller things that I got. I did have a very successful time at Marshall's, where I found a few different things, and I feel like I almost never find stuff at Marshall's, but both of these, I believe both of these ended up coming from different Marshalls. I got a little mini Gus canister, who is so cute. I love the new Gus stuff. I love the little chin, the little rosy cheeks. I love that there's like a mini version of the big canister, because if you display them together, it creates like levels to your decor. Or if you just want one little one, this is like a little bit more transferable. Let me see if I can, yeah. Oh, look at that, look at the eyes. I feel like I really lucked out because there were 2 of these in the Marshalls. I left the other one for someone else, but there were 2 of these, and that always gives me the opportunity to compare paint jobs. Both of them were pretty nicely painted, but I did get the one I liked a little better. The main problem people run into with Johanna Parker is that sometimes the paint jobs are not great, which she says is part of her aesthetic, but I'm sorry, I'm just like a perfectionist, so I want the best paint job that I can get, and this one I think is like a near perfect paint job. The other smaller piece, which, where is that? Maybe this was from a TJ Maxx. But I got the little cat bowl. So I have the slightly bigger cat bowl that says trick or treat on the front, but I also got the little one, which I really like. I like not having the trick or treat on this one. I just love that face. Look at that face. I do like, I'm pretty sure on the other one it has the eyelashes, which I love, but just so cute. That was $12.99. Yeah. Adorable. This was one, I feel like this happens to me every time, where I will be looking and scanning all the shelves for her stuff, and then I'll be about to leave, and then I'll find one. This happened with the bigger cat bowl. I was like about to go, and then I was like, wait, that's there? That was this way with this one. I think maybe when I picked this up, or maybe when I picked up one of the other pieces, there was also the little mummy bowl that's been going around, but I didn't like it as much, and also that one had a chip, and like it had a chip along the edge right at the front, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't need to spend like another, I think that one was $9.99. Didn't need to spend the money. Might have even been $12.99. Just like, I'm okay. I'm all good. I went nuts with the Johanna Parker salt and pepper shakers this year. I got, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 salt and pepper shakers. I got 6 Johanna Parker salt and pepper shakers, which is ridiculous. Like, objectively, I know it's ridiculous. The way in which I justify it is that I don't even really use these as salt and pepper shakers. What I do is I separate them and use them as like little added touches to different sort of decor vignettes that I make. So they end up kind of fitting in all around, and I think it's really important to have little pieces to balance out like the bigger pieces that people get. I feel like most people, I fall into this. I made this mistake, and I'm trying to kind of fight against it. I made the mistake of getting a lot of different decor that is about this high. Like, it's about a foot high. And it's just very hard to decorate in the way that I like to decorate, where you make things kind of layered and textured and all this other stuff. If you have a bunch of shit that's just one size, like it's just one, it's the same size, you can't really do the thing that I like when you have that. So I love getting little things and some bigger things and some even like in between things, like 6-inch things, just to like spruce it up a bit, you know? So let me start with the one that I revealed. This was the first one I found. I'm going to take them out because the glare is too bad for my box light, but these guys were the first one I found. I was so happy. These are also ones, this was the other anniversary present I gave my sister because she reminds me of the little pumpkin and her wife reminds me of the owl. So I just thought that that was the cutest thing ever. And look at their little party hats. I love her stuff that incorporates a good party hat because it makes me think of like clowns and like the carnival. I mean, as seen by the fact that line used to be called Carnival Cottage. That stuff has always just been like a real point of interest for me. So anyways, I was very glad to get those. I also have the little, I don't even know what the right word for it would be. It's like the little lanterns. Those guys are about 6 inches tall, that are these two guys. So I'm very happy to have sort of the matching salt and pepper shaker set. I also found these guys. Also so cute. Very happy to find a ghostie, because ghosties have been particularly hard to find in years past. They just, I think, are really popular. But then the cat has the little party hat / clown hat. And yeah, super exciting. These ones were $9.99. Yeah, both of those were $9.99, which is curious considering the price of a couple that I actually just literally found today. I went one last time to Home Goods today to see if I could round out what I wanted, and I did. I found these ones during my big day where I went to like a ton of different stores over like 6 hours. But I found just the pumpkins, and I have been looking now for like 2 years for I just want the pumpkins. Just the regular little guys. I love their little faces. Ah, so cute. Just adorable little guys. And I like the ones that are a little more intricate, but I also love having ones that are just sort of like a basic shape, basic coloring, all of that. I feel like it makes it easier to incorporate, and yeah, I don't know. I just like it. What can I say? Oh, that was very exciting. Those guys were also $9.99. For $7.99, I was surprised it was a little cheaper. I found another set that I have been looking for a couple years, which is just the little black cats who also have little hats. So cute. I was so happy that they have been producing more of these. It feels like they've really heard us, that we are interested in this stuff. We want more of it, and I just have been seeing a lot more. I saw a bunch of stuff at my Home Goods when I went today that I was very surprised that it hadn't been snatched up by a reseller, which tells me that as opposed to only giving each Home Goods like maybe 5 pieces if they're lucky, they're trying to really push it out. So there are those little ones. So happy, so cute. And then for $12.99, I got the last two. I don't know why it was $12.99. I guess they're a little bit bigger, but I think maybe they jacked the prices up. I think these are the sort of like newer releases. So, you know, and prices for everything have been going up, especially like people have been talking about this with Home Goods and TJ Maxx and Marshalls, that all of the prices of the same stuff they had last year is starting to go up. So these guys were $12.99 each. I found, this is one of the ones that I really wanted this year. I had wanted it last year too, and I didn't think my Home Goods had it, and then it actually, for once, Johanna Parker was in the checkout line. I never see her stuff in the checkout line ever. And as I was checking out today to get the other one that I couldn't believe, I found the other one in a really odd place that I didn't think she was gonna be. I got the little ghosty Gus salt and pepper shakers. I just love, she also has the ones where it's the ghost head on the like black and orange pumpkin body, but I was a much bigger fan of the ones that are just the ghost. I really, really wanted those. So let me see if I can get it to focus. Yeah. Oh, so cute. I love how all of them have the little chin. Just a little, ooh. And they're doing their little ooh, ooh. And they got their little rosy cheeks. This was another one where there were 2 of them, so I got to pick the one that I thought had the best painting. I really try and pay close attention to the eyes, because the eyes for her stuff can get kind of wonky. So I got one that I think has two very well, cleanly painted eyes. And then the last salt and pepper shaker, the one that I was sure, I'm not going to find this. Everybody wants this. It's just not going to happen. And I had sort of resigned myself to that. And then I was in my Home Goods today being like, this is the last time I'm looking for this. Like, I'm not going back. If I don't find it today, that's okay. I just won't have it. But then, so usually all our stuff is in dishware. However, I know that my Home Goods has a secret section of dishware. They have like the kind of regular Halloween dishware section, and then way around where they keep like the lamps and chairs and stuff, they have this secret other overflow section. And that was where I found the little Mr. and Mrs. Frankenstein. Ooh, they're so cute. They're bigger than I thought they would be. Like, I knew that they were kind of big, but they were much more significant, which these guys, so the ghosts and these ones were $12.99. This one, it kind of makes sense because they are a little bit more substantial, but the ghosts, I was like, come on now. That's exactly the same size as the rest of them. I don't know if maybe they knew that they were going to jack the prices up, so in the first trucks they were $9.99, and now they're switching it with the new arrivals to $12.99. I don't know if Home Goods really does that for stuff. I haven't noticed that in years past, but a Home Goods employee did say, oh good, you're getting it before the prices go up, back when I bought some of the other stuff a few weeks ago. So I don't know, maybe they are doing that, but I'm so happy. I was so pleased with these. I can't wait to have them be sitting in random places and just being so cute. And I love how Frankenstein has this little like side eye, you know. Adorable. Sorry, I'm just taking in the detail on these, like even that she's got her little bats. So cute. So anyways, yeah, lots of salt and pepper shakers. I don't need any more salt and pepper shakers. You know, again, these are mostly for display, but I have found literally all the ones I wanted. It would take her making an entirely new set that was something like a completely different character for me to be like, oh, now I need that one too. Like, I'm good. I found them. I found all the ones I wanted, and I'm good. I did also get, so at the Marshalls where I found this guy, they also had this guy. Or lady. I feel like this one is more of a lady. Maybe it's just because it's a teapot, which might be a little bit stereotyping, but I feel like she's a lady. $24.99. I freaked out when I saw it. I was like, what? And then I saw the other one and I was like, what? And then I was like, okay, I have to get a cart right now because I hadn't expected to find anything, so I didn't pick up a cart. And that was where I found some of the salt and pepper shakers too, and another piece that I almost passed by. I almost just totally missed it on the shelf, and thankfully I do like 3 or 4 drive-bys of the shelves just to make sure I don't miss anything. But anyways, I was so pleased. I hadn't even realized that they'd come out with a teapot version of Gus, that they had, I thought it was like just the canisters, and yeah, she's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that detail. Again, I'm so happy that I found the ghost stuff this year, because that just seemed to be snatched up so quick last year, and I really, really like her ghost pieces. I haven't really had any of her ghost pieces. I've just been lusting after them from afar. So, yay! Yay for me. I did find the big canister, who was also $24.99. Couldn't be happier. This, oh god, especially, it's kind of hard to see on camera, but he's got that little double chin that I just think is the cutest thing ever. That detail alone is like, yes, I love this. And I also like that in the new version it's a black base. I like that the black base sort of contrasts with the white base of the teapot. I actually like much prefer the new version to the old one, so I'm glad that I didn't find it last year, because if I'd found it last year, I couldn't have justified getting another one, and I think that this just, I don't know, I just like it a little better. They're both cute, but I love the little curl, his little ghosty head curl. Yeah, this is gonna be filled to the brim with candy. And I don't need any more candy jars. I now have 3 very, very good Halloween candy jars. I have this one, I have the Johanna Parker Owl candy jar, and then I have my own vintage, retro vintage candy jar, and they're all beautiful. The other bigger piece I got, which was also $24.99, which I did feel like, man, really? But resellers are selling this one for like $60 or something ridiculous, maybe $40 at the lowest, $60 to $70 at the highest. And this was the one that I almost passed by. I can't believe I almost passed the pumpkin soup bowl by. Oh my god, look at that. Look at the spoon. Look at the face. So cute. This makes me feel better about the fact that I couldn't find one of the pumpkin candy bowls, which was, I love the owl, but the pumpkin was what I really, really wanted, and this makes me feel better about that. In my last Johanna Parker video, so I have another soup bowl. I had thought that this one was the companion to that soup bowl that I have, but it's actually the companion to one that's like just a full cat head. I did look for the cat head one, but I like the one that I have that's also a cat much better, and I like the pumpkin way better, so I couldn't be happier. I can't believe I almost walked by. I literally walked by the shelf like 3 times, just scanning, and then I think on the 3rd time I was like, wait a second, I recognize those eyes, and there he was in all his glory. Oh, so cute. As you can see, I haven't taken any of this out of the packaging. I am determined to not decorate for Halloween until September, or at the very least, maybe like the last week in August, so all of this stuff is staying safely wrapped up until it's time to pull it all out. And the last Johanna Parker piece I got, which I have been searching for since I got into her stuff. I almost paid way too much money for one from like a boutique website. But, okay, so during my like 6-hour full day search, this is the last store that I was gonna hit up. I was like, after this, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm like, only have really been able to find like a few salt and pepper shakers, which are great, but like after I found, on that day was when I found the big ghost canister, and after that I was like, if I don't find anything else, like I'm good. I still consider this day a success, but I decided to check one more Home Goods, or is it Home Goods, or it might have been TJ Maxx, or it was one of those. Again, didn't see it at first, was looking and looking, didn't see it at first, and then finally he stuck out to me, which is the classic pumpkin mug. This one, this is like the first piece that I ever even saw by her and was like, oh, that is really, really cool. I would love to own that. This one was $9.99. And I just can't believe I own one now. I'm just so glad that I own it. I have many mugs of hers now that are in this style. The only one that would be fun to have now would be the little devil mug that people have been posting about online, but I couldn't be more pleased that I found one of the pumpkins. And now I feel like if I don't find any other mugs of hers ever again, unless something horrible, some horrible tragedy happens to my entire collection of mugs, I am happy. I am so, so happy with this one. So cute. I almost love that this one doesn't have teeth. I mean, because that tracks with it being a jack-o'-lantern, but also I love with her pumpkins that they're just kind of like, huh? Huh? I love that. I love that. It's so whimsical. Just whimsical magic. So, yeah, that is my giant Johanna Parker haul. I was so surprised to find out that she got a new deal, and I'm very glad for me and the rest of the people who love her that she's a little bit more available in stores. When I went to Home Goods, they had 2 teapots and 2 of the big Gus canisters, and they had like 4 different salt and pepper shakers. They had her fall mugs, or her like Thanksgiving mugs, which I considered getting one of those owl mugs, and then was like, I'm okay. I'm not really a like I'm a Halloween celebrator, not just a fall generally celebrator, you know, like fall to me is Halloween, so I left them, but they were also very cute if, you know, you're into like that side of the seasonal decorating, so yay, love it. This made me feel a lot better in the midst of having kind of a hard time, having had like sort of a stressful and heart-wrenching past like 6 months or so. And the last thing I want to show you, which is like the more creative thing aside from just kind of collecting this stuff, was this. Okay, so here, I want to kind of hide it from you. So the preface to this is, have you seen this in your Home Goods? I'm going to throw up a photo. Adorable. It's these three little kids who are in their Halloween costumes and they're trick-or-treating, and it's very cute. However, I think that the paint job on it is god-awful. I think it sucks. I think that it has terrible coloring that is very cheap looking, and like with a lot of the resin pieces, the paint jobs could really use some work. So I got one of those last year, was planning on doing a video with it, and then that didn't happen, and then I didn't think I was going to even make any more videos, so I just went ahead and repainted it. It was super fun. As I did it, I was listening to Unwell, Midwestern Gothic Mystery, which is a podcast that is excellent. If you want spooky vibes with actually a really great story and really good voice acting, characters who you can really care about, highly recommend that podcast. It's the perfect thing to throw on while you're like doing Halloween decorating or whatever. I listened to the whole thing while I was doing this piece and some other stuff, so really fantastic, highly recommend it. And I painted the little guys, I repainted them to look like my brother, sister, and I if we were going trick-or-treating. And I just am really, really pleased with how this came out. What I tried to do is, number one, I tried to give him more complex colors. So not literally like crazier patterns, but I tried to make the colors feel like they're less out of a tube, like all of them are custom mixed colors. And I tried to repaint the faces so that they were just like a little bit cleaner. Oh, it's so cute. So this is my brother on the end, my older sister, and me. And I also tried to add just like a few little details. Like I added some details to the mask. I gave my sister a little sort of like Charlie Brown stripe around, which I thought was cute. And then I did a little star in front of my little bat costume. And then I tried to make this sort of like abstracted grass pattern, like very stylized, which I thought was super fun. And yeah, I just had a really great time doing this. And I love when you can take these different mass-produced pieces and find a way to just make it yours. Just, you know, find a way to make it personal and make it a piece that's not just like, oh, I can just run out and grab that from the store whenever, but make it something that, you know, you'll really love. If you hear meowing, it's because my cat Sweet Pea is desperate to be let into my studio. She is not allowed in here. She is banned because she will cause way too much trouble with all of the junk that I have around here. So if you hear her, she's fine. She's just begging to be let in, and she won't be. She'll just have to live. But yeah, this was the last thing I wanted to show you today. I really appreciate the amount of people who watched my stuff last year. I think like one of the videos got over 1,000 views, which for me is like, man, I've never done anything that got over 1,000 people who clicked on it. I mean, who knows how much they watched? Maybe they just watched like 10 seconds to make it count as a view, but that's okay. I still appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll post more videos because I'm just doing this for fun, but I really hope that you guys are having an okay time. We're all in this together. We're one people. I hope that we can, as a world, like figure that out one day. I know that like no one is perfect. I think that me buying all this stuff is indulging a side of myself that I'm trying to rein in. However, I still am finding the comfort and enjoyment in the things that I can, and I hope that you are able to have your own different outlets for you to find comfort and help you be resilient in the face of pretty scary times that we're having right now. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys. I will talk to you soon, and I maybe won't. That's about all I got to say. So, see you later.